welcome to episode 26 of the In Between podcast with Paige Allen. It's Mother's Day this weekend, so I felt like it was fitting to invite my mother, Linda White, to sit down with me and talk about the joys and the realities of being a mom. I loved our conversation. My mom gives some really wonderful advice. I think you're going to love it too. So sit back, enjoy, and hopefully you'll leave feeling encouraged knowing you are a great mom. Hi, everybody. It's Mother's Day, so I have invited my mom, Linda White, to join me today on the In Between podcast. Thanks for coming, Mom.
You're welcome. Thanks for inviting me.
She was on once before for a favorites episode, but we haven't just really talked. And so I asked her to come on today and talk a little bit about being a mom because I think she did a good job. I mean,
fabulous job. She's proof. Her and her two sisters.
So we're going to start, though, with our into it and over it. I want to ask you, what are you into? Are you into anything right now?
Okay. Well, I kind of am. I want to be into something. My husband and I just got back from a trip to Italy where we met up with Josh and Paige for a couple of days. And we did a cooking class in the Tuscany Hills. And it was one of the highlights of our trip. And I do not pride myself in being a great cook, but I want to be a great cook.
Yeah.
And this inspired me. And another thing that inspired me was the kind of the Mediterranean diet that they eat there. Because I thought it's so much bread. You eat pizza, you eat pasta, you eat bread with your pizza and pasta. But after kind of researching some of their different wheat processes and all this, it made me want to be a better cook. And so I'm gonna do it.
So what's the best thing you ate when you were in Italy?
There's so many good things I ate. Oh, I know what it was. Some friend's son had just been there on a kind of like an exchange student basis, and he told us his favorite restaurant in Florence that we had to try. So we went one night, and they had blueberry steak.
Wow.
And pomegranate pasta, which neither sounds good. It was the most fabulous meal I've ever had in my life.
So was it like a blueberry sauce, or how was blueberry infused into a steak?
You know, it's poured over the top of it, but it wasn't sweet. We thought it tasted like a combination of blueberry sauce with kind of a steak sauce in it, like an A1 sauce. They had a really different taste, but best thing I've ever put in my mouth.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Well, my into it is from Italy as well. And I'm going to say this. What I fell in love with in Italy were caprese salads. Which are so simple. And in fact, I came home and I went and bought real fresh mozzarella, some Roma tomatoes, and tomorrow night we're having our community group at our house, and it's Italian night. I'm making caprese salads. Hopefully it'll be good. I don't know. We'll see. So if you followed me on Instagram, you know I was just absolutely consumed with the hand painted tile. So I bought one tile. And so now I have this plan that I want to retile my laundry room, or it's got to be like a small room, because busy tile might be a little bit much. So I'm really into it. I've got my eye open now. I'm looking down now a lot to see
the floor
tiles, and just in general. I don't know. I really like it.
They do have cool tiles there.
They do. So what about over it? What are you over, Mom? Are you over anything?
Oh, what am I over? I can't think of what I'm over. What are you over right now?
Oh,
I guess that's good.
That is a good thing. You're liking life. You know what? I'm over school.
I don't blame you.
Whew. I don't know. All you other parents out there with school-age children, it's May. We just have to press through. I was looking at Selah's folder the other day, and she gets a folder that comes home every night, and you have to sign off on homework and things like that. And she also has a book log of every book that she's read. And the last entry for her book log was April 9th. Oops. So I am obviously over it. I feel really bad. We have been reading some, but I just want to finish strong. There's a lot of end of the year activities. So we can do it.
You can do it.
We can do it. Yeah. So
one thing I'm kind of over,
what are you over?
And I think it's because it's affecting me too much, is obsessing over social media and all the comparisons. And I'm not faulting other people. I'm faulting myself. I realized for some reason, I think it's while I was out of the country. I looked at it more because I was trying to figure out, okay, what's going on with people when I'm gone. And I realized I'm a little bit too much into this. So I'm not checking out of social media. I love it for the pictures, keeping up with people, but I'm kind of over, I don't know.
Yeah.
Just too much of it.
Too much. That's, yeah. I keep saying that I'm going to step back from a little bit and have done a few proactive things, even just like making sure I put my phone in a place instead of walking around with it all day. And so, but it's definitely things to be intentional about.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, this weekend is Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day.
Thank you. Thank you.
I want y'all to know, first of all, I'm going to say I have a great mom, which is why I asked her to come talk about motherhood. I love so much about my mom. She is just one of those people who's very constant. I was trying to think, what do I love the most about my mom? That doesn't sound great.
It sounds boring.
It's not boring. What I mean by that is, you know, who's that one person that you know is always going to be there for you? You know, be there to cheer you on in your really great moments, but be that person that you pick up the phone on the days that are hard. And I think especially in our world today, that's something that is lacking in most relationships is that, I don't know if it's, I didn't even say it's faithfulness. It's just that I know I can count on you. And so that's what I so love about you. And I want to know, your mom has passed away, but what's something that you loved about her?
Well, Paige told me she was going to ask me this. I said, you know, you'll get me to crying, so I'm going to try to hold it together. But I had a great mom. She's been gone now for 3 years. But my mom was a strong, strong woman. She was widowed in her 30s, and we lived on a farm. And so she chose to continue farming as a woman, which especially in those days was a man's world. And I watched her through that become strong. And we used to kid her and tell her she was a tough cookie. But she was. I mean, people didn't put anything over on my mom. And but I admired that in her. She pressed through a lot of adversity in life. And so I love that about her. One of the things I loved about my mom is she was a prayer warrior. It was kind of after she passed away, she had a little scroll plaque that she kept in different parts of her house from time to time. And it was her prayer reminder. And it would be in her bathroom, or then you would see it in the kitchen. But it was just always humbling to see your name or your kids' names written on her little prayer scroll. And she was just a prayer warrior. So that was one of the things I admired about my mom. She was a hard worker. She worked hard her whole life. But she really never complained about it. She loved being busy. And she was just loving. So I miss her a lot. She impacted my life.
I think it's important for us to, from time to time, just even to sit down and remember whether our mothers or the different people that are important in our life are still living or have gone on. Either way, just stop and be mindful of how they've impacted us and the things that we've learned from them. So I think that's really good. Well, so as a mom who I think has done a great job, I want to ask you, I want you to think way back to, and maybe it's not even way back, days that were super hard being a mom. Those days when you thought, oh dear Lord, when is it bedtime? What are the things that, looking back, what are the things that you would say to moms that are in the trenches right now, or in the midst of hard days? What do you think back on this?
Well, you know, it's easy for me to say this now because I'm at the other end of it. I've raised my kids, and now I'm watching my kids raise kids. And I know you hear older people say a lot, cherish the moments because they'll be gone before you know it. And one of my son-in-laws was even preaching this last Sunday about how annoyed that used to make him, but now he's getting it. But it's so true. They grow up so fast. But I do remember in the midst of it, when I had my third child, that about did me in. I mean, I don't know what it was. 2 kids, I've got 2 hands. I can hang on to them. We had 2 parents in the family, so we weren't outnumbered. But that 3rd child came along. I don't know if any of y'all out there have that 3rd child and then even more, but that was hard. So, you know, and I do remember those days you're like, you just wait for bedtime. We're going to be quiet just for a little bit. But I would just say, don't beat yourself up over that. Part of that is you are tired. You're physically tired. You're emotionally tired, because they can ask the same question 500 times in the same day. And there's only so many ways to answer those questions. And sometimes you just need a break. Right. So, but at the same time, try to enjoy those things, because later you'll get to my stage and you'll think, oh, I remember when this child or that one used to say the funniest things. At that time annoyed me, but you would love to hear that little voice say that one more time. So, yeah. You know.
I think, too, even going back to your over it with social media, I think with moms, some days I know for me, that makes my harder day harder if I do try to look at what's going on in other people's lives. On days that I'm doing good and I see that good things are happening on people's lives on social media, it doesn't affect me as much. It's on the days that my life is, and it's not even necessarily bad, maybe it's just a boring, ordinary day. And all of a sudden, it's almost like it increases the amount of, frustration you feel in your day. So I think that's good. I think, too, something that I'm finding is helpful is learning to laugh at yourself and having someone just to be honest with, which I don't know why as moms, I just had a Mother's Day tea this morning and at Salus school. And one thing I appreciate is it's been almost a full year, but I feel like with a few of the moms, we're finally starting to be really honest about a few things that are just hard in life, and you've helped me with this, with friendship, that to have a friend, you have to be a friend. And I think it's the same thing is true even with that. If you need someone to be vulnerable in this parenting thing, sometimes you have to go first. You think so? Yeah.
And I think as parents, we're going to make mistakes. I made so many mistakes, Even to this day, every once in a while, a memory will pop up in my mind, and I'm like, oh, dear Lord, I was not a good mom at that time. Paige and I, when she was like 13 years old, we used to fight. I mean, it was like, and I remember one day her dad said to me, he goes, you are the adult. You need to quit arguing with her. But, your different kids can just almost punch different buttons in you. We were a lot alike in that we both wanted to be in charge, I think.
Which you were the mother.
I was supposed to be. But, some days I kind of lost control. But anyway, I think part of it is admitting when you're wrong. And I remember having to admit to Paige, because instead of just parenting her, sometimes I would get in arguments with her, almost like on her level as a young teenager, and, kind of lose my cool. And I remember days just having to go, I'm sorry, I blew it today. And that's okay. Our kids need to know that we're not perfect. And if we will model for them asking forgiveness, even from our own kids, and admitting our mistakes, it helps them do that in life. Yeah. So, because we're not always going to get it right as parents.
Yeah.
But one thing I learned, we're going to make a lot of mistakes, but God's so much bigger than our mistakes. So, that's where prayer comes in, and just trusting Him.
And kids are resilient, like probably a lot of those things that you remember, my goodness, I don't even remember those days. Good. I will say though, I do remember you coming to me, and it's probably because I was older in my teens, and asking for forgiveness. And I've told people before that for me was a turning point, even in those, I was just hormonal mostly, I think, but in those relationships. And so I try to remember now as a mom of, it's okay to ask for forgiveness from your own kids. Yeah. And you are modeling that for them in their own life then as well. Yeah. Well, let me ask you about this, because you were saying how we were alike in that way, both wanting to be in charge. But you had 3 girls, and all 3 of us were really different, like extremely different. So talk to us a little bit about parenting different personalities. What did you learn about that?
Well, I just think it's really important for you to learn and start observing your kids from the time they are babies. Because all kids have certain traits you'll start noticing. Either they're going to be a really strong-willed child, they're going to be laid back, they're going to be sensitive. And I think the sooner you recognize those things and kind of parent them in that way, it helps. Like our 3 girls were very different, and probably every parent out there can say that about their kids. Even in discipline, Paige was this strong-willed child. And spanking kind of worked with her. I don't know if some of y'all may not believe in spanking. That's a controversial thing. I'm not trying to get into that. But I do think the Bible teaches that spanking is effective in some cases, not in an abusive way. But for Paige, we learned that spanking would work occasionally, but usually we had to find those things that she loved and take those away. When she was a little kid, she loved books. Do y'all remember the little golden books? We had stacks of them, and Paige would look at them all day long. And so we learned if we took her books away for a day, it broke her heart. And she was a much better child. So sometimes you got to learn those things. Our youngest was pretty sensitive. Either that or she learned to play us at a very young age.
We taught her.
And you could just look at her sternly and she would crumble in the floor and cry. And so you really didn't have to discipline her hard. She just kind of got it. And then Leslie, the middle one, she was hilarious. You could spank her and she might laugh. She'd kind of look at you like, is that all you got? Kind of thing. And so you just got to figure out how they're different and try to parent them in those ways. And along with that is find out what they're interested in. You know, so many times as parents, and I'm sure we did this, I see parents do it now, they get their kids involved in so many things that their kids are worn out. And some things they enjoy and some things they don't. So you got to kind of figure out what are they interested in and get them involved in those things and encourage their talents. So, they're all different.
That's true. They are. I'm just seeing it with my 2 girls. Just when I kind of get something figured out with the first one, the other one totally breaks the mold.
They don't respond the same way.
They don't at all. And so I think too, I'm just learning to really to trust my instinct and to listen to the voice of the Holy Spirit, you know, and to constantly be praying, like, you know, hey Lord, I need some help today on this one, you know, and asking people, you know, I remember when I was pregnant with my first one, I kind of got frustrated with all the free advice that was given. But then after they got here, I realized, oh no, I need some advice, you know, and so asking people their opinion on things, but then deciding after they give me their opinion, I'm going to judge that for myself, and whether or not that is going to work. So summer is coming up for moms, and I'm over school, but I'll tell you also as a mom, especially with school-age kids, summer can be a little bit daunting of like, oh my goodness, I'm going to have these children for 3 months. Any advice to moms as they're about to embark on summer? Yeah.
Summer is hard, and I think it's hard for working women in one way, and it's hard for stay-at-home moms in a way. The stay-at-home moms kind of have a more constant, you know, if you're a stay-at-home mom, I say make some plans for the day. Just don't let every day be a free-for-all. And it doesn't have to be rigid, but just, and let the kids help pick, you know, some things that they want to do that summer. Maybe it's swimming 1 or 2 days a week, or maybe it's going to the science spectrum. But if you have a little routine, it helps. I know when y'all were little, we used to we did summer camps when y'all got a little bit older. And even when they're younger, different churches and different places have little day camp things. So I think if you give them stuff to look forward to off and on through the summer, Because kids get bored.
Yeah.
Easy too.
They do. Yeah.
So
I was reading a blog the other day, and this mom, she did just that. She rolled out a piece of butcher paper, gave her kids markers, and they each got to write down 5 things to make it a summer of fun. And she said they were within reason. None of them were crazy, but it was like, have a lemonade stand, bake cookies, go swimming, go to the library. And then she took all those ideas and kind of mapped them out in a loose schedule. And she just said it kind of all of a sudden made it like, okay, we've got a plan. We can make this happen. So I think that's really good. Yeah. Let me ask you another totally kind of different kind of question. Because I think sometimes when we become moms, if we're not careful, our whole life becomes about our kids. And you can kind of look up and feel like, I've lost myself a little bit, you know? Have you experienced that? And how have you walked that out to still be Linda as well as mom?
Well, I do think that's a challenge because motherhood takes so much physical energy, emotional energy, and we want the best for our kids. So we just kind of give our all to them. And I have, from time to time in my life, realized I don't even know who I am anymore or what I like personally. And so I think that's a good point that you brought up. I think from time to time, step back, evaluate, and ask yourself, am I doing anything to develop myself? Because it will come before you know it that your kids are out of your home. And then you don't want to have nothing left. So I think find things that you enjoy occasionally and get involved in those, whether it's volunteering for something or getting a book club or something where you're interacting with adults and be around friends that challenge you. You know, that's a blessing in my life. I have friends, and I have up and up through my life that challenge me to not just get lost, whether it's in your kids' lives or your husband's life and career or whatever, but who are you? And develop those areas of your life.
Yeah, so that's really good. I think too, along with that is then choose not to feel guilty when you do that. Because I know for a lot of moms, I've experienced this myself, whenever I have stepped out to pursue something that I love and it doesn't involve my girls, the first thing that pops in my mind is, what are you doing about mom? You know? But if you are getting yourself healthy and you're filling yourself up, it actually makes you a better mom. It does. It really does. Yeah. And I like what you said too about find friends that challenge you. I was reading a book the other day and it was talking about, because friendship I think is hard for moms too. And they were saying, instead of just, yes, look around you who are in a similar stage of life, but even more than that, like start running after the things that you love. And that could be in motherhood, but that could be in another area. Maybe it's you love to volunteer or you love to do art or you like run in that lane as well. And then look around and see who else is running that same thing. And you'll probably click with those people really well. And they'll challenge you, you know? And that really helped me because I feel like sometimes that's my struggle is I'm like, I want those challenging friendships, but I know a lot of women, but it's hard to figure out which ones to really invest in. And so I felt like that was a good practical, like, go start running and after the things that you love, and then look, all of a sudden you'll be like, oh, look at these 2 other people.
You can have something in common with them.
And you can build that friendship from there. So that's really good. So, well, one final question. Okay. You've given us a lot of fantastic advice. You really have. It's been good. What do you want to leave with moms? Like if you could look at a mom, if you're sitting over coffee with a mom, maybe it's me, but maybe it's another mom that is just saying like, hey, Linda, give me your wisdom. What would you tell her? How would you in that conversation?
Well, I think first of all, I would say enjoy being a mom. It is a privilege to, we have to remember, we call them our kids, but really they're God's kids. And He just invested that child into your life for a few years for you to raise. And I think too many times I see young moms that they're so exhausted and they're just trying to survive and they're not enjoying it. So I would say first, try to slow down a little bit and enjoy those little people, because those little people will be big people for long. And I've also learned if you don't spend time with them when they're little people, they may not want to be around you when they're big people, so to speak. I mean, make your relationship fun. I mean, it can't always be fun when you're the disciplinarian and you're the parent, but you can find fun times in it and just try to relax and enjoy it. And then, you know, as a parent of adult kids, I just realized my girls are my best friends. I mean, they're the ones that I like to hang out with, I like to shop with. I like to be with other friends too. I have some great friends, but you know, it's so much fun to just hang with my girls. And I just think parenting is such a privilege. And I've loved every stage of it. Some stages are more challenging than others, but just know that this too will pass, and that even if they're in a strong-willed stage, hopefully that will pass.
It will pass.
It will pass. You get them through it. You train them through it. So, you know, most of all, enjoy it, slow down a little bit, and be real intentional. You know, kids just, Paige said kids are resilient, and they are, but kids need boundaries and loving boundaries. That makes them feel safe. What they know what they can do, what they can't do, what they can't get away with. So just be intentional in your parenting. Don't just think, oh, they'll be fine. They'll grow up themselves, because they will, but you want to leave your mark on them, so to speak, in a good way, because you want to instill values that you hold dear into your children. And that comes from being intentional, whether it's in little conversations in the car or real teaching moments. But enjoy your kids. They're fabulous.
That's good. I think if we enjoyed it more, the other stuff would naturally follow. Yeah. So, well, Mom, thank you for being on here, and thanks for being my mom. I don't hug, but I'm going to hug my mom.
Oh.
All right. Well, everybody, have a great Mother's Day. Cherish your mom. Go tell your mom something that you love about her, and then go look at your kiddos and tell them why you love to be their mom. Yeah. All right. We'll see you next time. Wasn't that a fun conversation with my mom? I just love her so much. I really do want to encourage you to show lots of love to the moms in your life this weekend. And for all of you moms out there, I want you just to simply remember you are doing a great job. Hey, if you haven't subscribed yet to the YouTube channel, be sure and do that today. You can also subscribe to the podcast on iTunes so that you're notified every week when a new episode comes up. All right, y'all have a great week. We'll see you next time on The In-Between.